Hi, in this video I'll be showing you this. It's the Sony KD48A9 OLED TV. Now Sony have been making OLED TVs for quite a few years, and up until now the smallest size they've been making is 55 inch. But really, due to consumer demand, they are after something a little bit smaller in the OLED market. So really what Sony have done is they've come out with this, the 48 inch. What I want to do today is to show you around the TV some of the features and benefits that it's got, but also the setup process. So I've got the remote control, the TV's plugged in, let's have a look. So just before I turn the TV on, I just wanted to go through the dimensions of the TV. So first of all, the width on this is 107 centimeters, and the overall height is 62.5 centimeters. The other thing to note is the little pedestal stand here. Now I must say the pedestal stands on TVs nowadays do vary a huge amount. Some of them, I'll be honest, are quite ugly, but I'm not just saying this because I like this TV, but I think this is one of the best looking pedestals on the market at the moment. It's really nice, it's very thin, it is a metal finish, and also the size on it isn't too big. So it's only 47 centimeters wide, and the overall depth of it is only about 24 centimeters. So this is actually displayed. This is a 60 centimeter stand that I've got sitting on at the moment, and I know it's not normally the type of stand that you'd have it sitting on, but even on a very small stand then it's fine. So I'll just show you around the side and the back of the TV. So first of all, down the side here we've got things like the headphone connections, AV, we've got the couple of USBs and the HDMI, and then as we go around to the back of the TV itself, then you've got some more HDMI connections. So you've actually got 4 HDMIs altogether. You have got the LAN connection, so if you need to hardwire the internet then you've got that ability. The main thing to point out on this is that if you want to wall mount it, then you just use these connections here. This is a 3x300. It's not that common in the TV industry at the moment. Most brands have gone to either a 2x2 or a 4x4, but really with any universal bracket then you should be okay to hang this TV on the wall. So you've actually got the on and off switch on the left hand side here. So first of all, when you switch it on, it wants to know the language, so we'll just skip that at the moment. There are a huge amount of functions that you can actually do on this, but I just want to get it basic set up. So what I'll do is I'll actually get the internet side set up. So all this is asking for is for the Wi-Fi code, so I'll go through and set this up. So you've also got Chromecast on this TV. That just gives you the ability to stream things like photos or videos or music to your TV straight from your mobile phone. Back in the day you used to have, say, an SD card slot, so if you had a camera or camcorder, then you'd pop the SD card into the side of the TV, but that's long gone nowadays. This is a much better way of doing things. So this is just selecting the country because it needs to know where we are. Some of the legal bits that you have to go through. Clearly I've already read all of these. So you do need to set a PIN number for it, but we always tend to have the same one, which is a fairly simple one. So PIN number has been set for the TV. So you've got different ways. So what you can do is you can, if you've got things like Sky or Virgin, then you don't necessarily need to set up the Freeview service on it. but I do want to set that up because we've got free view in our showroom here, so we'll go through and get that sorted. So you just press next, and what this will do is, it normally takes a couple of minutes, but it will go through and it will select all of the channels that are in your area, and then it puts them in the right order. Then you select the region that you're in. So we're in Leicester, so we're in the East Midlands. So what you can also do at this stage is you can connect any devices that you've got. So if it's your phone, tablet, any games consoles. So at the moment it's detecting that there's no device connected, and this is something that, you know, I probably will do later. And this is just asking where we want the TV to be positioned. So, because this can make a difference to how they display the picture, but you know, clearly at the moment we've got it on a tabletop stand, but if we want it, if we had it wall mounted, then you just select the wall mount. But for the purpose of this one, then I'll select tabletop stand. You've got something called acoustic auto calibration. So it optimises the audio output for your TV speakers by measuring the listening environment using the microphone on the TV remote control. Acoustic measurement takes about 5 seconds. So yeah, we definitely do that. So now that the setup is complete for the TV, and this is basically an overview of the apps that you can get through the TV. There are a huge range of apps. I won't go through all of them. They are the standard streaming apps as most smart TVs have got. On the remote control here, I'll just show you this, that you have actually got the Netflix button and you've got Google Play as well. The remote control itself is actually really nicely laid out. It is it's a metal look finish, but because a lot of people tend to use things like Netflix now, then it's nice they've put a specific button on the remote. So just while I'm on the subject of Netflix, this TV actually got something called Netflix calibrated mode. This is a mode that's specifically developed to enjoy Netflix originals and reproduce the same pitch quality on a TV as a studio evaluation master. I'm not really reading it. With Netflix calibrated mode, the creator's vision and intent is faithfully preserved. That's what Sony say. So basically, it's a really good picture, and what Sony are trying to do is to keep, so how the studio would record the film or the series on Netflix. What Sony are trying to do is to give you as good a pitch quality as possible using the Netflix calibrated mode. So now it's all set up. I know you won't get the full picture and the full benefit through watching it through my video, but when you want to actually watch a TV channel, then that's on BBC at the moment. You've actually got, if you press the TV button at the bottom there on the remote control, you've got different options here. So you've got things like the guide, and as you can see, this is using the UView platform, which is quite a tried and tested platform. It works really well, and what it does is it actually shows you what's on at the moment. So this is on BBC One HD. It shows you what's on. Also you can have a look throughout the rest of the day, and if you go a bit higher than that, then you can actually have a look for quite a way ahead, normally around a week ahead. So if you have missed something on TV and if you want to watch it, then it's really easy with this TV. A couple of ways of doing it. You can use the home button on the remote control and then go through one of the players. So you've got the standard things like iPlayer, iTV Hub, and for channel 4 and 5. But what you've also got is you have got the ability, so when you press the guide button on the remote, this is a little bit easier. So if you know you have just missed something, then if you, for example, if you're on BBC 2 then all you do is you use the left and the right cursors on the remote, and what this will do is this will just go back for, you can actually go back in time, and all you do is you just select which one you wanted to watch. So for example, if it was on 4 HD, if you wanted to watch say 15:1, that was on quite early in the morning, that was about 5:10, all you do is you just highlight that, then press the OK button in the middle, and then after a couple of seconds then it will normally just play. What you need to do first of all is on each of the plays you do need to sign in and just get them set up. So first of all you just need to register for all of these, but once that's done then it's an easy process just to go through. So Sony used the X1 Ultimate processor in this TV. Another feature that is really good is called Pixel Contrast Enhancer, and what that does, in certain bright areas of the picture, so when you've got a bright image on the picture, it will actually increase the contrast. And really what it's trying to do is to keep lifelike pictures, so things like faces, it's trying to keep them a lot more realistic looking. If you go into a showroom, then sometimes you can find that the pictures that some retailers put on are really bright and really vivid, but they don't look that realistic. But really, I suppose what we try to do in our showroom is try to have a realistic looking image, because there's nothing worse than getting home and then being disappointed with the TV that you've just bought. So on this TV it has got Dolby Atmos and S-Force front surround, as Sony call it, and what that's trying to do is from the front of the TV it's trying to create an all-round effect that you don't normally get through TVs. So traditionally on a TV what you'd find is that you'd have a couple of speakers, normally around the back or just at the front here, but what Sony realised is that sometimes you can get a little bit of lag and it's never quite an ideal match between the picture and the sound. So what Sony have done is they've actually come up with something called acoustic surface audio, and basically what that does is there's actually an actuator behind the screen, and it will actually vibrate and it will resonate in certain parts of the screen depending on where the action is happening. So if you had say a car crash over this side of the screen, then it will sound like it's coming from this side of the screen. So it's a much more realistic sort of definition of the sound as to where you are in the picture. So you've also got a light sensor built in, so if you are watching this in a very bright environment, so if you have the sun on it, then it will actually increase the brightness to try and compensate that. But also if you're watching it, say if you've got Netflix on and if you've got the lights turned down or turned off, then what it will do is it will actually reduce the brightness, so just so you don't have that glare that most other TVs will have.